Welcome back to Life Advice for You, where we tackle the truths no one else will. Have you ever felt like your children don't listen to you anymore? Or maybe you've struggled with their disrespect, but don't know how to respond without losing your temper? If so, you're not alone. Many parents face these challenges, but the good news is there's a way to turn these difficult moments into opportunities to strengthen your relationship with your children. In today's video, you'll learn a simple yet powerful 6-step approach to handling these situations with confidence and grace. By the end, you'll have practical strategies to restore respect, improve communication, and create a more peaceful, loving family environment. Make sure to stay with us until the end so you don't miss these life-changing insights. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss out on valuable content like this. And if you find this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with others who might need this advice. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this topic interests you, comment 1 below, and if you'd like to see a different focus, comment 0. Your feedback helps me make better videos for you. Now, let's jump in. Step 1. Control your reactions. One of the most important skills in handling difficult moments with your children is learning to control your emotions. When your child ignores you, speaks disrespectfully, or reacts with defiance, it's natural to feel angry, frustrated, or even deeply hurt. After all, you've spent years caring for them, guiding them, and doing your best to raise them well. But here's something to remember. Reacting in anger may feel justified in the moment, but it rarely leads to the outcome you truly want. So before you respond, pause, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that staying calm is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom and strength. Your composure is a powerful tool that can shift the entire dynamic of the situation. Instead of escalating the conflict, your calm presence can diffuse tension and guide the conversation in a more positive direction. Think of it this way: children, regardless of their age, are always watching and learning from you. Even when they seem rebellious or distant, they absorb your behavior more than your words. If you lash out in frustration, they learn that anger is the way to handle problems. But if they see you responding with patience and control, they internalize those qualities as well. Consider a moment when you were young and had an emotional outburst. Did an angry response from an adult ever truly help you understand your mistake? Likely not. However, a calm and steady response probably left a deeper impression, teaching you how to reflect on your actions rather than react defensively. Of course, staying composed doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It means channeling your feelings in a productive way. Instead of responding with frustration, take a moment to gather your thoughts. This not only prevents hurtful words that could damage your relationship, but it also allows you to approach the situation with clarity and purpose. The truth is, words spoken in anger can leave scars that take far longer to heal than we ever intended. Over time, repeated emotional outbursts can weaken the trust and connection between you and your child. No parent wants a moment of frustration to create lasting emotional distance. By demonstrating grace under pressure, you are teaching your child an invaluable life lesson: how to face challenges with maturity, patience, and resilience. These are skills they will need throughout their lives, in relationships, at work, and in times of stress. When they see you handling difficult situations with self-control, they are learning how to do the same. So the next time emotions start to rise, pause, breathe, and lead with wisdom. In doing so, you're not just managing the moment, you're shaping a more respectful, understanding, and loving family dynamic for years to come. Step 2. Show understanding without giving in. Once you've taken the time to calm yourself, the next essential step is to look beyond your child's behavior and try to understand what's really happening beneath the surface. It's easy to react impulsively with authority or criticism when faced with defiance or disrespect, but doing so often escalates the situation instead of resolving it. Instead, take a step back and ask yourself, what is my child truly experiencing right now? Children, just like adults, go through stress, frustration, insecurity, and confusion. But unlike adults, they often lack the ability to express these feelings clearly. When they don't know how to communicate their emotions, those unspoken struggles may come out as defiance, attitude, or even withdrawal. If we only react to the symptom, the disrespect, we miss the opportunity to address the real issue. But let's be clear. Understanding does not mean excusing bad behavior or giving in. It means addressing the root cause rather than just punishing the reaction. Empathy is one of your most powerful parenting tools. And make no mistake, being empathetic doesn't mean you're being soft or letting go of your authority. It means you're leading with patience, wisdom, and emotional intelligence. Consider a real-life example. Imagine your child comes home from school in a bad mood and snaps at you when you ask about their day. It's tempting to respond with, "Don't talk to me like that." But instead, what if you took a breath and said, "It seems like something upset you today. Do you want to talk about it?" This small shift in approach can completely change the outcome of the interaction. Of course, empathy does not mean ignoring disrespect. If your child speaks rudely, you can acknowledge their emotions while still holding them accountable. A response like, "I understand you're upset, but we need to speak to each other with respect," maintains both empathy and authority. When you approach these situations with understanding, you not only strengthen your bond with your child, but you also teach them how to handle their own emotions and relationships in a healthy way. Dr. John Gottman's research, conducted at the University of Washington, supports the idea that when parents take the time to understand their child's emotions, rather than simply punishing bad behavior, they help their children develop emotional intelligence and self-control. This shift in parenting is powerful. Instead of constant power struggles, you build cooperation, trust, and mutual respect. When children feel seen and heard, they become more willing to respect the boundaries you set because they understand those limits come from a place of care, not control. So next time your child reacts with defiance or disrespect, resist the urge to immediately assert authority. Instead, pause, observe, and ask yourself, what is my child truly feeling right now? Step 3. Set clear boundaries. Calmly. Setting boundaries is not about controlling your child, it's about guiding them with love and consistency. When emotions run high, it's tempting to react with frustration, raising your voice or making threats. But the way we communicate limits determines whether our children learn from them or simply resist them. If we approach boundaries with anger, children often respond with defiance or resentment. However, when we remain calm and firm, we create an atmosphere of mutual respect, where they understand that rules exist not to punish them, but to protect and support them. When children feel safe and connected, they are more likely to cooperate and respect boundaries. Discipline should teach, not punish. The goal is to guide them with firm yet compassionate leadership, helping them develop emotional regulation and responsibility. For instance, instead of saying, "You must go to bed at 8 p.m., no exceptions," you could offer, "Bedtime is 8 p.m., but if you finish your homework early, you can read for 15 extra minutes." This approach maintains structure while fostering independence and responsibility. Consequences should teach, not punish. If a child refuses to clean their room, saying, "No TV for a week," may feel satisfying in the moment, but it doesn't encourage accountability. Instead, tying the consequence directly to their actions, "Once your room is clean, you can have your TV time," helps them understand that their choices have natural outcomes. This is how children learn responsibility, not through fear, but through connection and guidance. Boundaries, when set with love, are one of the greatest gifts we can give. They prepare children for a world that won't always bend to their desires, teaching them self-discipline, respect, and resilience. So next time you need to enforce a rule, take a deep breath. Speak with clarity, patience, and warmth. You're not just setting limits, you're shaping a future adult who understands the value of responsibility and respect. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment yes below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Step 4. Set the example. If you want to raise children who are respectful, kind, and emotionally strong, it starts with you. Children are like mirrors, reflecting what they see far more than what they are told. No matter how many times we instruct them to be kind, respectful, or patient, they will ultimately learn these values by watching how we act. If we want respect from them, we must first show them respect. If we want them to listen to us, we must prove that their words matter by listening to them with full attention. The way we handle everyday situations, especially moments of frustration and conflict, becomes the most powerful lesson they will ever receive. Take, for example, a grandfather named Mr. Henry. He had always told his grandson, Jake, to be patient and kind to others. But when Jake witnessed Henry losing his temper at a grocery store clerk over a small mistake, the message he had heard about patience became meaningless. On the other hand, when Henry later apologized and explained that he had let his frustration get the best of him, Jake saw something even more valuable: the ability to admit mistakes and strive to be better. That moment taught Jake more about humility and self-awareness than any lecture ever could. I remember a moment with my own grandson, Ethan, that made me realize just how much children absorb from us. One afternoon, I was fixing something in the garage when he came running up to me, excitedly waving a picture he had drawn. I was in the middle of tightening a screw, distracted, and barely looked at it before muttering, "That's nice, buddy." He stood there for a moment, waiting for more, but I was too preoccupied. Later that evening, when I asked him about his day, he gave me the same distracted response. "It was fine, Grandpa," without even looking up from his toys. That was when it hit me. He was simply mirroring the way I had treated him earlier. That moment stayed with me. It reminded me that children don't just hear what we say, they learn from what we do. If I wanted Ethan to be present in conversations, I had to be present for him. If I wanted him to feel valued, I had to show him that his words mattered. The next time he came to me with a drawing, I put down what I was doing, looked him in the eyes and said, "Tell me about this one." The joy on his face told me everything I needed to know. Setting an example doesn't mean being perfect. It means being consistent and authentic. Children don't need flawless role models, they need real ones. They need to see that the values we teach them are the same ones we live by, even when no one is watching. If you want them to be good listeners, make sure you are present when they want to talk. If you expect them to be respectful, show them that even during disagreements, they will still be treated with dignity and fairness. If you want them to be honest, let them see you owning up to your own mistakes. The most profound lessons in life don't come from lectures, rules, or punishments. They come from daily actions. When we lead by example, we are not just shaping our children's behavior within the family, we are preparing them for all their future relationships. The kindness, patience, and respect they experience at home become the foundation for how they will treat others in school, at work, and in their own families one day. It is important to remember that children don't expect us to be perfect. They need to see that even adults stumble, get frustrated, and make mistakes. More importantly, they need to see how we handle those moments, with accountability, patience, and the willingness to grow. By showing them that self-improvement is a lifelong journey, we give them permission to learn and grow without fear of failure. Leading by example is one of the greatest gifts you can give your children. The values you embody today will ripple into their future, shaping how they navigate challenges, how they build relationships, and how they carry themselves with grace in a world that will demand much from them. Long after our words fade, it is our actions that will remain in their hearts, guiding them through life with integrity, empathy, and strength. So here's my question for you. What's one value you want to instill in your children, and how do you model it in your own life? Comment below, and let's start a conversation. Step 5. Create moments of connections. It's easy to focus on correcting disrespectful behavior when tensions rise, but respect isn't built in those heated moments. It's built in the quiet ones. True respect doesn't come from constant correction. It grows from a foundation of love, trust, and connection. That's why creating meaningful moments with your children, when conflict isn't even in sight, is just as important, if not more, than addressing misbehavior. Think about it. When was the last time you spent time with your child or grandchild just for the sake of being together? Not to teach a lesson, not to enforce a rule, but simply to connect. These moments, free from expectations or discipline, are what truly shape your relationship. When a child knows they are valued, not just when they behave well but always, they are far more likely to respond with respect and understanding even during difficult times. Spending quality time together doesn't have to be elaborate. A simple walk in the park, cooking a meal together, or sharing stories from the past can create powerful bonds. Whether it's tossing a ball back and forth, doing a puzzle, or sitting on the porch watching the sunset, these small moments matter. They build trust, strengthen emotional ties, and remind children that they are loved, not just when they make good choices, but all the time. In my experience, the stronger the relationship, the fewer conflicts arise. And when disagreements do happen, they tend to be less intense and easier to resolve. Children who feel secure in their relationships are more likely to communicate openly rather than act out. They understand that they are more than just their mistakes. They are valued individuals who are loved deeply. This is why connection is key. It's not just about preventing conflict. It's about creating a relationship where respect grows naturally, because love and understanding run deep. When your children or grandchildren look back one day, they won't remember the individual moments of discipline as much as they'll remember how you made them feel safe, heard, and unconditionally loved. Step 6. Give them space to reflect. It is not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. Albert Einstein. Growth, learning, and understanding don't happen instantly, they take time. Interestingly, research in child psychology has shown that children who are given time to reflect on their behavior are more likely to develop long-term emotional intelligence and self-regulation skills. In fact, studies indicate that when children have the opportunity to process their emotions independently, they make better decisions in the future. Once you've calmly addressed a situation and set clear boundaries, one of the most impactful things you can do is allow your child the space to reflect on their actions. Growth doesn't happen overnight, and neither does a deep understanding of respect. Sometimes, the most meaningful changes take time to surface. By stepping back and giving them time, you're allowing your child to process everything at their own pace without feeling pressured. Just like a seed needs time to take root and grow, so does self-awareness. If we rush the process, demanding an immediate apology or an instant change in behavior, it often leads to resistance rather than real understanding. I remember a time when my grandson, Jake, spoke to his mother in a disrespectful tone. I wanted to correct him right away, but instead, I calmly let him know that words have power and that speaking with kindness is important. Rather than forcing him to apologize on the spot, I gave him time to think about it. Later that evening, he came to his mother and said, "I'm sorry for the way I spoke earlier. I didn't mean to be rude." That moment of realization was far more valuable than if I had simply told him to apologize without understanding why. When we allow children the space to reflect, we're not just teaching them about respect, we're helping them build essential life skills, like responsibility and self-awareness. Over time, they will begin to understand why respect matters, not just because they are told to, but because they truly believe in it. This kind of realization leads to lasting change, far deeper than any scolding or punishment ever could. Maturity is a process, and every child moves through it at their own pace. Some may grasp these lessons quickly, while others take longer, but with patience and support, those lessons will eventually take root. If we push too hard, demanding immediate results, we may create defensiveness instead of growth. But when we step back, we allow them to develop a sense of accountability on their own. Respect, after all, isn't just about following rules. It's about understanding the value of kindness, consideration, and empathy. By giving children room to reflect, we nurture their ability to grow into thoughtful, respectful, and self-aware individuals, qualities that will serve them for a lifetime. If you're still here with me and find these lessons meaningful, let me know by commenting below. Final tips. One of the parts that you've been looking for the most has arrived. Now that you've walked through these 6 steps for handling disrespect in a calm and constructive way, I want to leave you with some final advice to help strengthen your bond with your children and improve communication even further. Not every moment requires a reaction or a lesson. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is let small provocations pass without turning them into a conflict. This doesn't mean ignoring important issues, but rather recognizing which situations truly need your guidance and which ones are opportunities for your child to learn and grow on their own. For example, if your child rolls their eyes or mutters under their breath, you may feel tempted to correct them immediately. But ask yourself, does this moment require discipline, or is it an opportunity for them to manage their emotions independently? By choosing your battles wisely, you teach them that not everything in life needs to be a confrontation, and that self-control is a skill they can develop. Children feel more valued and respected when they have a voice in matters that affect them. Including them in decisions, whether it's planning a family trip, setting household rules, or discussing daily routines, helps them develop a sense of responsibility and teamwork. A study from the American Psychological Association found that children who feel heard in their families are more likely to develop strong communication skills and emotional intelligence. By giving them a role in decision-making, you not only foster respect, but also help them build problem-solving skills and an appreciation for the consequences of their choices. As parents, we often focus on correcting bad behavior, but acknowledging even the smallest positive efforts can have a profound impact. A simple phrase like, "I noticed how patiently you handled that situation today. That was really mature of you," reinforces the behaviors you want to see more of. This type of positive reinforcement builds confidence and motivation. Over time, children begin to see themselves as capable of making good choices, not just because they are told to, but because they feel proud of their progress. Parenting isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. If you've overreacted or handled a situation poorly, don't hesitate to apologize. Saying something like, "I shouldn't have raised my voice earlier. I was frustrated, but I could have handled that better," teaches your child that mistakes are a part of life and that growth is an ongoing journey for everyone. When children see parents admitting faults and making an effort to improve, they learn that humility and self-reflection are signs of strength, not weakness. Family relationships, like all meaningful connections, evolve over time. Real change doesn't happen overnight, and progress isn't always linear. Some days will be easier than others, but every small step toward greater understanding, patience, and respect is a step in the right direction. Don't be discouraged if results aren't immediate. With consistency, love, and patience, the benefits will come. Over time, you'll see your family's bond growing stronger, creating a home environment filled with mutual respect, understanding, and support. As we wrap up, remember that parenting is a journey of patience, growth, and connection. Every small effort you make, choosing your battles, recognizing progress, and fostering respect, helps build a stronger, more loving family. Real change takes time, but your consistency will make a lasting impact. If this video resonated with you, share your biggest takeaway in the comments below. And if you found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, keep going, and trust that you're making a difference.